Welcome to the JC Pod presented by Stare Down Sports. I'm your host Jaden Chandler Parnell, and man, boy, what a weekend! We got a little wide weekend of football action. So today's slate, we're gonna keep it very simple. I'm pretty much just gonna kind of go over everything that happened this weekend, football-wise at least. There was a trade. Damian Lillard did go to the Milwaukee Bucks. I haven't talked about that. It's been almost a week, so I just wanted to at least bring that up in some aspects. But as the Heat fan of me is a little sad, but it ain't the NBA season. So yeah, like I said, without further ado, we're pretty much going to go over the reaction to the NFL, some reaction to college, talk about some NFL news. I'll go over some NFL standings if I have a little bit of time at the end. And I'm assuming it won't happen today, but I am planning on Thursday. I will go over some of my futures, how they're going 4 weeks into the season. And at the end of this episode, I'll go over my betting records and everything and how everything's been so far this year through 4 weeks. But yeah, man, we're on episode 90, 10 away from the big hundo. Woo! Let's go, baby. So I have some stuff I have written down, but we're going to start off with the Thursday night game that I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason. So I'm going to pull it up real quick while we're talking. By the way, baseball playoff starts today. Shout out. I never mentioned those baseball standings. I said I would. So real quick, just to kind of give some baseball some love. We got the Rangers taking on the Rays, Blue Jays taking on the Twins, D-backs taking on the Brewers, Marlins taking on the Phillies. That might be it for the wild card. That's the wild card round. Let's go, baby. So yeah, back to some NFL, like I said. We'll start with the Thursday night game. This was kind of a shocking weekend, though. There were some surprising scores. I did learn some stuff about some teams. But yeah, we also had a London game that we're going to have again this weekend as well. But Packers-Lions start off. The Lions are good, man. That basically just told me that was a game where it put me on the Lions defense. I think the Lions defense probably a little bit more legit than I thought. They basically completely shut down the Packers in a game that I'd say was one of the harder games the Lions have played this year just because of how good. Like, not how good, but it's a division game. Usually you'd play your division opponents a little bit tougher, but the game basically was 24-0, I feel like, before it was even, like, basically got started. It was basically 24-3 before it even got started. Even worse, actually. It was 27-3 at halftime. Like, this game was pretty much over. The Packers pretty much backdoor covered, but this was just a shocking game. Shocking game, man. Basically what I took away from this is the Packers are not as good as I thought they were. The Lions might be slightly better than I thought they were. I'm just so scared because I've watched the Lions do this year after year after year after year. They just do the one thing they can't, and I'm not making the playoffs. But this might be a legit team. I'm captain by a hook. We talked about it a little bit Friday. I looked at their schedule. They're probably going to go 6-1, man. It's like 6-2, 7-2. This is their upcoming games. They play the Panthers, Buccaneers, Ravens, Raiders before their week bye. I think they're winning all those games. So they are 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 6-2. There's a chance we have the 6-2 Lions going into the week 9 bye. Then they play Chargers, Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings, Cowboys. I'm not gonna lie, the Vikings got through a tough portion of their schedule already between the Chiefs, Seahawks, Falcons, and Packers. I mean, I thought the Chiefs. I honestly thought those first 3 games were going to be a little bit tougher, and they beat the Chiefs, lose to the Seahawks in overtime, and they manhandled the Falcons, who are going to have some quarterback issues. We'll have to talk about that in a minute. Speaking of quarterback issues, I just want to shout out Daniel Jones real quick. I know I'll get to that game in a minute, but man, the offensive line gave that dude no chance. Good or not, it's up to you if you want to debate how good he is or how good he's not. But I will say that is one tough son of a bitch. That boy just feels like he gets hit all the time. But yeah, shout out to the Lions, though. Shout out to the Packers. We don't need to talk about Daniel Jones. We'll deal with that in a minute. But yeah, shout out to the Lions, man. They had a really good game. They're going to be, like I said, this is a team now where I'm going to be watching. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I have a little bit more respect for them now. I'm still, in the back of my mind, I still remember who the Lions are. Way back here. I still remember who the Lions are, but I'm excited for them. I think there's some hope now. I mean, their defense is really, really good. They get Jameson Williams back starting at least this week, potentially. Like, there's a lot of optimism for this team. The next game was the International London Series. Basically, the sum of this game is Desmond Ridder, man. Who is he? What is he at quarterback? I have no clue. Shout out to the Jaguars. Jaguars get a big win. It started off with a passing touchdown, to Calvin Ridley. They made a field goal. Desmond Ridder has a pick 6. Desmond Ridder throws a touchdown to Drake London, and then there's basically field goals to end it. Man, I won't lie to you. I don't know what to expect from Drake London. There's a little bit of altercation between him and Matt Collins. He went to give Matt Collins a sideline, high five on the sidelines after he just missed him on a deep ball. Then Matt Collins basically jumps up and screams in his face. I won't lie. As like as a former football player myself, just seeing that, it's like, oh, that is scary. Because I've been on teams I've been on some teams where they like, I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus ever. I wouldn't do that, but there's some teams I've been on throughout this is whole lifetime. There's been some teams I've been on throughout my whole lifetime where you get that feeling, man. You look kind of guys like, what the hell is he doing, man? Why, are we sure he's the best option we got? Like, there's so many, there's just the fact that, you know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm talking about. You look at the guy you're watching him play, and this could be like any sport. This goes for anything. I'm just solely, for example, for the quarterback position, and you just remember you watch a guy and you're like, man, just if we had a good quarterback. I mean, there's the culture like that last season, even as a professional team. Like, there's so many teams like, man, just if we have that. Quarterback's a hard position, man. Like, it's at the end. Like, I know I'm not gonna just jump in on Desmond Ridder while I got the shot too, or be like Rodney Harrison and just absolutely blast Zach Wilson. Which I'll get to Zach Wilson in a minute. That actually was impressive. But man, I just like Desmond Ridder, 19 for 31, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 30. 207 yards, 1 touchdown. They damn near had the same stat line. The only difference is Desmond Ridder has 2 interceptions to Trevor Lawrence's 1, and the offense just officially doesn't look like it's moving under Desmond Ridder. Like, I don't know if he just needs to it's one of those things like Zach Wilson. It took him 28 games to finally have a good start. Is it? It just makes me wonder, is it the offense or Desmond Ridder? But watching, it's just weird. It feels like the Falcons almost took a step back from last year, and they were really impressive last year. I don't know what to expect. This was a very impressive game by the Jaguars. This was kind of like a get-right-back game. This was really, really good. They're staying now overseas because they play the Bills next week in London. But the biggest thing I got from this game, man, is I was just watching Desmond Ridder. I just don't know if he's a guy or not still. Like, he has some plays here and there. I don't even need to talk about Bijan. Bijan's the man. I'll talk about him a little bit. I got to show Bijan some love. That juke he had on that linebacker where he absolutely shook him out of his shoes. Like, you can't even do that in Madden. Like, they don't even... I mean, people talk about being able to get out of a jukes in a phone booth. Sorry, excuse me. I mean, you can't, like, the good old saying, like, you can't talk with this guy in a phone booth. I mean, I seriously, like, you get in a phone booth with Bijan, that dude is just bouncing all over. It is, watching him just with the football is insane. He put up a lot of points in fantasy without scoring a touchdown, and you know that if you're doing that, you're having a pretty good damn day. Like I said, though, I don't know what to expect from Desmond Ridder. He's just been so inconsistent. It's so hard to tell. I mean, throughout the season even. I just don't. Game log. He has 3 passing touchdowns in the year, 4 interceptions. I guess technically, one of those in the preseason doesn't count. He has 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 115 passing yards, 1 game, 237. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just like the offense doesn't feel like it's moving as efficiently as it should be. A lot of that falls on the quarterback. I don't know if it's a play caller or what, but I would love to see more from Desmond Ridder, basically. Or either that or they're sticking by him at quarterback. That's what they just said, so I don't know. We'll see. Going into next week, though, they play the Texans, and they're favored by 1.5. I don't know if I'm taking the Falcons that game. I won't lie to you. The Texans. We'll get to the Texans in a minute, too, but I told you, it's one of those weeks this week. We'll go to the Colts-Rams. That's the next one on my list. Hey, now. Excuse my language for a second, but we got a fucking guy. Anthony Richardson, my goodness, man. He has been awesome to watch. The Colts basically go down 17-0, 23-0. They look like they're dead in the water. The offense just basically had, it's just terrible drive, man. It was just one of those things where it's like they just couldn't get anything going. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, punt, 1, 2, 3, punt, 1, 2, 3, punt, and then all of a sudden the Rams offense was just on the field long enough to put together good drives. In the second half, completely flipped. Anthony Richardson had one hell of a game. They were one of the 2 teams to storm back from a big deficit. They didn't win. Another team I'll talk about in a minute did win. Man, I can't wait to get to that game. I might do that game next just because I have some stuff to say about it. But Kyron Williams had an amazing game as well. He 103 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Anthony Richardson 11 for 25. You're like, hey, didn't you make fun of Desmond Ridder? Yeah, but Anthony Richardson had 200 yards. He also had 2 touchdowns. He also, on the ground, had 1 rushing touchdown with 56 rushing yards. I mean, he's a big old dude. He is putting up some really impressive numbers. So is C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is putting up really, really impressive numbers. But the Colts, we finally got an offense, man. It's a miracle. Overall, though, that was a really, really impressive game by the Colts. I was just as impressed by the Rams. Matt Stafford played through a tough injury towards the end. I don't know what's exactly wrong with him. I don't know if it's like they said a hip flexor, but I don't know what exactly is like up to with that. But the big news though coming into this is that was kind of scary for the Rams. They should be getting Cooper Kupp back as well this upcoming week, which is huge. But Matthew Stafford getting hurt like that is really scary because this is not a very deep team at all. Like the Rams are very talented with the guys they have in playing right now, but they lose Aaron Donald, they lose Matt Stafford, they lose anybody like that. They're done. I mean, you saw what happened when they lost a lineman last week. They lost one tackle. They lost simply one tackle. And the Bengals put up a number on them defensively that, I mean, you saw what the Bengals defense did against the Titans. That was interesting. Talk about another interesting game, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, like the Rams are very, very good when they have everybody healthy, but when people are hurt, that's when it's going to get scary for them. So they need to get as many wins as they can while people are healthy. It's just, man, that injury with Matt Stafford is very, very scary. And they also need to be careful with the play call. I mean, the announcers brought it up multiple times where they were just like, hey, if he's in shotgun, it's pass. If he's under the gun, it's run. I don't know if that's specifically just a game plan against the Colts or if that's something they've been doing all season, but that's something definitely keep an eye on because for the majority of the game, I would say there's maybe 2 or 3 plays max that this didn't apply for. If you saw Stafford in shotgun, it's a pass. If you saw him under center, it was a run. And, I mean, they put up 29 on the Colts. It took overtime, but that's another thing I forgot to mention. Colts took them to overtime. That was really impressive. I love this team, man. That's the biggest thing for the Colts. I love this team. I can't wait to they even got the 2-point, by the way. I just can't wait to watch them as they grow. And I think the Colts are just, like, 2 good DBs away from having, like, a legit, like, I'll even say a Super Bowl. I think they're 2 DBs away from a Super Bowl contending squad. I'm not going to say they're the Super Bowl favorite, but they have a quarterback now who can get them out of messes. And they need some offensive line help, too, I guess, if we're going to start doing, like, all that stuff. But the biggest need I think the Colts need are DBs right now because, man, they just can't cover anybody for longer than, like, 4 seconds, which I know is really hard in the NFL to do. But, I mean, if you watch a lot of those passes Matt Stafford was throwing, I get it's Matt Stafford, but there were some guys wide open. And I don't know if that's just Gus Bradley's defense or what, but I think the Colts just need a few more DBs. But shout out to the Rams, man, get a huge win. And then also shout out to the Colts, man. The Colts are going to be competitive in a lot of games. Speaking of being competitive in games, how about the Cardinals, man? Cardinals lose 16-35, but that score does not say anything about how the game was. It was a 21-16 game in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, pretty much. The 49ers just were a beneficiary of a few good bounces their way in the fourth, but, I mean, they just didn't make any mistakes, and that's why they won, because that's what the 49ers just do. Shout out Christian McCaffrey, four touchdowns, 2 rushing, I think 2 receiving. Absolutely just went off. Michael Wilson, the rookie for the Cardinals, had 2 touchdowns as well. I tell you what, man, this Cardinals team is completely different than what I thought they were. They've been competitive. They've been fighting all season. I'll talk about the team that right after this that it has not been doing that too well. But actually, I lied. We might not be getting to that game for a minute. It's way down the list. But I'll keep going with this game. Cardinals 49ers. I've been really impressed with the Cardinals so far. This just felt like this was kind of a juggernaut matchup. So I didn't think the Cardinals were going to win this game at all. Not a chance. But the fact that they even made it competitive. That's really impressive. Like I said, it was competitive up until the third quarter. This Cardinal team is going to come in ready to fight and everything. I made jokes about it, but they do got that fire in that gut, man. I tell you what, Gannon's been... Say what you want about Gannon, what he's done so far. His guys come out ready to play. Kyler's not ready to be active off the pipe yet. Speaking of the Colts, Jonathan Taylor's returning to practice tomorrow, potentially, so that's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting little thing to follow. But yeah, overall, man, just Cardinals are going to be competitive in, I think, a lot of games. And 49ers are good. One thing I do have, Christian McCaffrey for MVP? Question mark. His odds are not saying that he should be, but it's about time we start actually thinking about it. I just sneezed, but it went away. I won't lie to you. I'm a person who enjoys sneezing for the release of it. So the fact that I just basically got teased right there, that was messed up, man. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey MVP. I think there's actually it should be actual consideration now. I mean, the dude is insane. Like, I'll read you. I didn't write down his stats in here. That's the one thing I did forget to do. But 20 carries, 106 yards, 4 touchdowns, not even the receiving. 85 yards, 1 touchdown. He's just... Dude. this sneeze is just not going to come out, man. It's seriously, it's just sitting there basically making it impossible to talk. But yeah, his first 4 games of the season, 152 yards rushing, 116 yards rushing, 85-yard rushings, 106-yard rushing, 6 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. No, honestly, I mean, like, you talking, and then he has like 71 yards receiving, 34 19. I mean, he is putting up some insane numbers to start the year. Already has 6 touchdowns, and he leads the, but yeah, he has 6 touchdowns already in the year through 4 games. It's actually insane. Leads the team, clearly leads the team. He has 7 touchdowns in the year, man. We're through 4 weeks. He's averaging 2 touchdowns a game almost. Literally, it's just like I said. So like, there's some real consideration for MVP. He should be, at least, with how good he's been. Is he going to win it? Probably not. It's usually a quarterback award, but there should actually be some consideration with how good he's been. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze again. It's probably going to be the rest of the show. So if I'm making weird faces occasionally, I apologize. There's literally like, I can't even describe where it's at. It's like basically in my nose, ready to basically just be sneezed, but I can't sneeze. Last game I'm going to check on this game is just Christian McCaffrey MVP odds, but of course, you know, I can't find them quickly. So when it comes to the MVP, Josh Allen is a favorite at 350. Interesting. And then if you want to find Christian McCaffrey, plus 2,500 under Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, and Justin Herbert. Not bad odds. Like I said, I would love to take it if I actually knew that he had a consideration to actually win it. I just feels like it's a quarterback award, man, and I would love for him to have the potential to win it. Also, just as scary as him is the injury. Usually when people start talking about him having an MVP season, he's gotten hurt the past few years, so hopefully he can just stay healthy, please. We'd love to watch him play. Moving on, though. Steelers, Texans. The biggest thing we need to talk about is, first off, I'm gonna show some Texans some love. Man, they got us. You guys might got a squad, man. I said at the beginning of the season, I thought the Cardinals, Bears, and Texans were gonna be the 3 worst teams in the NFL. I might only be right about one of those. The Texans actually been really, really impressive. CJ Stroud seems like a guy. He's has a 300-yard passing game. I think pretty much every game to start his career, he's going off. They absolutely destroy the Steelers, 30-6. That was a really impressive defense too. I mean, and the Texans were missing some offensive linemen as well. It's just, this is one of those things. D'Amico Ryans has his team ready to go. They're believing. Sorry for the alarms. I guess there's something going on. That's like right behind me too. Let me check that out. Man, I wish I knew what was going on. It's going on today. No, yeah, like I said, the Steelers' offense, it's to the point now where their Steelers' offense is just pitiful. Like, I don't understand how they've been this bad, and Matt Canada still has a job. The middle of this podcast just got derailed by sneezes and blowing my nose again. Shocker, imagine that. My lord. But yeah, going back, sorry, I'm going to try to get better on track. Going back to the Texans, they're going to change the way we think about almost everything now, huh? I mean, if you think about it, they got a rookie quarterback throwing to rookie receivers, putting up really good numbers. We haven't seen that in the NFL very often, so this is actually impressive. I'm shocked at the score they put up against the Steelers. I know the Steelers' offense hasn't been too good, but man, yeah, it's CJ Stroud, 16 for 30, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. Biggest story though, Kenny Pickett injured, bone bruise on his knee. We're gonna see what that's about. But this Steelers' offense, man, it is horrendous. Still no 400-yard passing games. Tomlin came out and said there's gonna be some changes. The only thing is, Freiermuth is now set to miss multiple weeks. I didn't even see that. He has a hamstring injury. That gets even worse for them. I mean, this team is just an absolute mess right now, and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 2-2. I can't believe I'm saying this about a 2-2 football team. They're 2-2, and they're an absolute mess. I mean, their schedule only gets harder, too. They play the Ravens next week. That I don't know if they're going to win. And then they play the Rams, Jaguars, Titans, Packers, Browns, Bengals. I mean, they play some good teams, man. I don't know what is going to happen with this team, man. As long as they have Matt Canada as their OC, I just expect their offense to do absolutely nothing. I mean, it's going to be hard to change a guy in the middle of the season and completely get a whole new system. But they got to do something, man. There has to be some change in that organization. Because you can't allow your offense to do this. This is embarrassing, rather. I mean, it's like, I hate to say it, but it's actually embarrassing to try out an offense like this week after week after week after week after week and expect to be competitive every single week. Like, I mean, it's like, at this point you start to become a broken record. I mean, this is their points every week. 6, 23, 26, 7. Like, don't get me wrong. I get they had played some good teams to start out the year, so it's, like, rough. And it's like, yes, their schedule's going to make it hard. But it's the NFL, man. And, I mean, this team is putting up no numbers on offense in a game where they want you to put numbers up on offense. It's seriously, the offensive coordinator needs to go. Offensive coordinator needs to go. At this point, I don't even know how to evaluate Kenny Pickett because their offensive coordinator is so bad. I don't know if I can't even blame him. I mean, this offense looked like this when Big Ben was there, and they were trying to. I'm going to get off it. I've already spent way too much time on it, but it's horrible. Horrible. It's kind of funny. Kirk Cousins is his worst game of the year so far, and the Vikings win. He had an interception. He only had 139 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He did not have the best game. Alexander Madison had a good game on the ground. The Panthers they just didn't do too much. Offensively, they had 2 field goals, an interception, touchdown. That's about all their offense did. Another team where I had to say I'm not a big fan of Frank Reich either. So and I know, I mean, hey, it is partially because of that, but I just don't know if he's a good like offensive coach. I mean, he might I think he was good. I think he still can be good, but he just hasn't proved it. So like as of now, I just assume he's not good. That's not me like trying to bring him down or anything. It's just you've seen what their offense have done. I mean, you saw what he did in Indy. Running a quarterback of his choosing every year, and they either retired or they aren't playing anymore. I think there's one quarterback who survived Frank Reich, if that. I just don't. The only ones I remember: Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. All 3 of those guys aren't playing anymore and it was after 1 or 2 seasons with Frank Reich. So I mean, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. Vikings get back on track with a big win. The Panthers fall to 0-4. Both these teams are in a struggle bust to start the season. Speaking of another team to start in a struggle bust, Bucks move up to 3-1. They are not struggling. They look awesome. The Saints, man, what's going on with them? Derek Carr plays, but it was clear that he basically couldn't play. I mean, regardless if Carr was playing or not, this team was just not good. They just did not play good at all. Alvin Kamara sets a record. He had 13 receptions for a whopping 33 yards. The lowest amount in NFL history. Second lowest is 70 yards off 13 receptions. Let me repeat that. 13 receptions for 33 yards. Chris Olave did nothing. Derek Carr could not throw down the field. I mean, it's just 23 for 37 for 127 yards is Derek Carr's numbers. They average, I think I heard the number was 0.4 air yards per pass. That's horrible, man. The Saints offense is basically nowhere to be found. I don't know if Jameis would have saved them. But basically, this is just, when it comes to the division, man, I just don't know what to expect. This is another team with just offensive struggles, and it's behind Derek Carr, and Derek Carr and Dennis Allen are just maybe not a good combo, honestly. I don't want to be that guy. Maybe they just aren't a good combo, though. Impressive win with the Bucks. The Bucks are now 3-1. I'm excited to kind of watch them along the season now. Baker might be a guy. Baker's been playing really, really well. Moving on to... What game do we want to do next? We'll get some of these Here, we'll talk about these blowouts real quick, get them out of the way. Titans blow out the Bengals. Bengals just have offensive struggles. They're really, they're just bad right now. Joe Burrow, I think, being injured is killing them. They can't throw the ball downfield, really. So it's just, offensively, they're just a mess right now. And for whatever reason, they aren't running the ball more, even with him injured. I don't know what's going on with them. They have a lot to figure out, but the Titans are able to come back on track with the win. Browns have a week 5 bye, and they didn't play Deshaun Watson because he didn't feel right all week. So that could have been just a potential, we got to bye. Let's just not hurt him even more. If it's week 17, potentially Deshaun Watson plays is what everyone's been sounding like. So maybe it was just a situation where it's like, we got to bye next week. Let's just rest him up. They threw out DTR. He didn't do too well. Ravens win 28-3. Lamar looks good. I think 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. It's good get back on track game for the Ravens right there. Let's see. I'll talk about the Monday night game last. One of the last blowouts. Cowboys absolutely manhandled the Patriots. Worst loss in the Belichick era. The Patriots lose 38-3 to the Cowboys. I think 2 defensive touchdowns in this game. Yeah, Mac Jones got benched for Bailey Zappi towards the end, understandably, but there's a lot of Patriots fans, man. I tell you what. There's a lot of Patriots fans that are not very happy right now with how this team's going. Ever since the Tom Brady stuff, yeah, I mean, you look at this team, it is rough, boy. It's been a little bit rough. Mac Jones had a really bad, probably his worst game as a starter Sunday, and it just did not get better at all. It was just a bad game, man. I mean, I literally got nothing to say. The Cowboys just had to do what they did, and Patriots looked awful. I'll start burning through these a little bit quicker. It's taking me a good minute to get through them. The Bills manhandled the Dolphins 48-20. It was back and forth for basically the first, 5 possessions. The past that, it was just all Bills afterwards. The Dolphins had some injuries on the offensive line that got to them, but the Bills basically, both teams are 3-1 now. Really commanding win by the Bills. That was just really impressive, honestly. I don't got much to say, honestly. That was just a really impressive game. Now the Bills are going to go to London, try to keep the momentum rolling. They're playing the Jags team that just came off a huge win. There's not much to talk about. Bills just absolutely put a whopping on the Dolphins. Dolphins are going to need a get-right game after. Not really a get-right game, but just a get-back game, kind of. I mean, they play the Giants, so that helps. I mean, man, that Giants team's a mess, boy. I guess we'll talk about that game real quick. I'm just going to burn through the last 6 games because there's not too many talking points. Seahawks absolutely destroyed the Giants 24-3. They stood no chance last night. I mean, the Seahawks barely had to do anything on offense because just defensively, anytime the Giants got the ball, Daniel Jones would drop back to pass and basically got sacked. I think he got sacked 12 times almost. He had 2 interceptions that kind of weren't his fault. I mean, he could have thrown it. I can't remember if the first one was or not, but the second one was definitely kind of a mix of a coverage/sack interception. But, man, I tell you what, until they get their offensive line fixed, I mean, Daniel Jones stands no chance back there. I mean, he was just anytime Daniel Jones was dropping back, there was a guy in his face or he was getting hit. And the Seahawks were able to stop the run, basically, which was really impressive. I just mean the Seahawks just dominate them, man. Like I said, when you get 12 sacks, is the highest ever under Pete Carroll last night. I mean, they just absolutely destroyed the Seahawks. Absolutely destroyed them. Or sorry, Seahawks absolutely destroyed the Giants. And this is the point where I don't know what's going on with this Giants team. They're a mess. The Chiefs beat the Jets 23-20. Patrick Mahomes throws his 20th career touchdown pass. I'm not going to talk about Taylor Swift. They did a good job of covering it Sunday night. You don't need to hear from me. Shout out Zach Wilson, though. Zach Wilson back. He had a really impressive game. They finally let him loose a little bit. He did definitely have some Zach Wilson throws in there, but he looked a lot more confident last night. They were just kind of letting him loose. He was able to, or I guess 2 nights ago, he was able to find some good reads. He's able to let the ball go in good timing in a lot of spots. I mean, I was genuinely impressed by Zach Wilson. 28 for 39, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns. He outplayed Mahomes. He had a better passing game than Mahomes did. It was really, really impressive. The Chiefs leaned on Pacheco. Pacheco got him a lot of good yards that game. The Jets, the biggest thing from this game is the Chiefs win, the Chiefs win but don't cover. Same story, different day. They move on to next week. They're going to be okay. The Jets might actually have a squad, man. The Jets play the Broncos next week. How the Jets are not favored in that game is insane to me. The Broncos defense is horrible. Worse than the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs actually have a good defense. I'm going to be all over the Jets in that game, especially after what I saw from Zach Wilson. I mean, they should be able to run all over the Broncos as well with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. But this was a game where there was hope. This was a hope game. The Jets for sure needed this win bad, but they're going to need a win really bad next week. The Jets could have used the win this week, but it's understandable if they lost. They really need to win next week to get their season back on track. And I think if Zach Wilson plays similar to how he did tonight, it's definitely doable. Now, speaking of those dirty Broncos, Bears go up 28-7 after the Broncos score the first touchdown. The Broncos storm all the way back to win 31-28. I'm shocked Eberflus is in the building. I don't know what to expect from these Broncos teams. And the Bears really stink. Those are my 3 takeaways from this game. I'm sorry, Bears fans. I truly don't get how they blew that game. They were up 28-7. I truly do not get how they blew that game. Justin Fields had his best performance as a pro yet. 3 for 335, had 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He even had some rushing yards, but man, the Broncos, man, they were able to fight a way back. They get a defensive touchdown to help them out. I truly just don't understand how the Bears lost this game. I was watching it live, and I was just sitting there. It's no way the Broncos come back, right? Then you get the first touchdown, then the second, then it's 21-28, then it's 28-28, and then the Bears. Of course, the Bears don't get a 4th down try. They miss it, and then the Broncos go downfield, kick a field goal. Absolutely unbelievable, honestly. I feel so bad for Bears fans, man. You guys just can't get any win. Finally got a good game out of Justin Fields, and it's all for nothing, basically. It was really bad for Bears fans. I'm so sorry. You guys got to deal with that, man. Hey, at least the good news is you might get the 1st or 2nd pick in the draft because the Panthers aren't very good either. But yeah, moving on. I think we only got one more game to talk about, and it's the Chargers game. Eagles, Commanders. Commanders potentially. Sam Howell's really good. I'll just talk about this one quick. The Eagles just look like they have this year. They've gotten by. They were able to win. They didn't look the most impressive, but they didn't look too horrible either. To be honest, the Commanders probably should have won that game. Eagles score a touchdown to go up 7. Then there's a dumb flag on a taunting. Of course, there's a flag on a taunting. And then the Commanders actually drive all the way down the field. They score. Riverboat Ron, who's now just Ron, doesn't go for it. He wants to kick the field goal. He came out loud and said his team looked tired. He didn't think they'd be able to get it. So they wanted to go to overtime. Because that makes sense. Your team's tired, so you don't think they're going to get it. So you want to go to overtime to make them play another 10 minutes to win the game. Okay, Ron. Yeah, I don't get that one, but they basically kicked the extra point. Field goal, the Eagles end up going on to win in overtime, win a game. I mean, honestly, that's a game the Commanders probably should have won, but man, tough one for them. Then the last game, Brandon Staley. I swear. Oh, by the way, hot seat coach of the week. I think I have to go to Matt Eberflus, man. I was going to say Brandon Staley just simply for the fact that he tried to loosen that game with the 4th and 1. I mean, we aren't going to get into his play calling this week. We're already 40 minutes into or not 40 minutes. I guess we're good. I forgot. I don't know how far we are. We're at least like 25, 30 minutes in. I don't think he's going to. How does he have a job still? He just can't help himself. He goes literally the same situation as last week. Goes for it on 4th and 1 his own territory. Doesn't get it. If the Raiders probably should have won that game. They don't, though. The defense gets to stop. They could have had a defensive touchdown on the pick 6, but it looks like Brandon Staley tells them to go down. So then it gets up to a 3rd down again. Potentially the Raiders were going to have to punt away, or the Chargers were going to have to punt away, but they ended up getting a deep ball for 1st down to win the game. This guy's trying to coach his team to lose. He's trying to coach to lose his guy's team. He just can't help himself. He sees a 4th and 1 in his own territory, and this boy acts like it's Madden and he can just rage quit, and he tries to go for it. I just don't get it. Truly don't get it, but shout out Khalil Mack, man. 5th player in NFL history to reach a milestone of 6 sacks in one game. I mean, he was all over Aiden O'Connell yesterday. Shout out Aiden O'Connell, by the way, the Purdue boy, getting his first start for the Raiders. But Khalil Mack was all over in that game. It was 6 sacks, was really, really impressive. I didn't have much more to say. I thought the Chargers were trying to lose that game. They covered a 10-point spread pretty much all game, and then last second just tried to give it away a little bit. Or they covered a 10-point spread that I took personally. I had them at 9.5. The live line was about 5-6. Yeah, they were up 10 pretty much the whole game, and then they gave up a late touchdown late, of course, and they almost lost the game, but they were able to just pull away. But yeah, I won't lie. I think that does it. I think that does it for the NFL. I believe I covered every game, so I'm just gonna burn through some news real quick, and then we'll touch on some big games in the college weekend. Oh yeah, there was a dirty play last night that Gino was angry about. They was a little chippy last night. I love seeing that. But yeah, I mean, it was just a bad game all around for the Giants, man. They did have a dirty tackle on Gino though that Gino was not happy about. He got in people. It was just it was really chippy. There's a lot of chippiness this weekend. An ex-Charger player absolutely just leveled Herbert on the sideline. That was shocking. I don't lie, I was shocked. He literally, I mean, you saw it. Herbert was basically took 1-2 steps out of bounds. The guy just goes, boom, and just absolutely levels him. That was just wild. I feel so bad for Jamal Williams, man. He got a concussion basically 9 plays in to his debut. Now, Tom Brady's now an owner of the Las Vegas Aces as well, so Brady's just taking over all those Vegas teams. Judon and Gonzalez are both out indefinitely. Judon's injury is for sure worth. Christian Gonzalez has not been fully announced just yet. Tre'Davious White out for the season with a torn Achilles. It's awful for the kid, man. I obviously he's older than me, but it's just awful for the guy, man, truly. Oh yeah, Kevin Stefanski about the whole Deshaun Watson thing. He's medically cleared, but chose to sit. That's why I said if it's week 17, they probably play him. They just probably wanted to rest him for the bye. McDaniel Armstead is ruled out for week 5 already, but they said he will play again this season. That is not what you like to hear, especially with all the issues that the Lions had against the Bills. Because I won't lie, that's the first time the Dolphins line kind of got exposed a little bit. The Bills were all over them defensively. Desmond Ridder is still the quarterback for the Falcons, like I said. Artie Smith is not moving on from him. Herbert fractured his finger on his non-throwing hand. He should be good. This whole Chase Claypool thing is wild. Apparently he was told to stay away from the team from the Bears, and now he's getting told to stay home. I mean, everything's going on with the Bears, man. The Bears are just a mess. They traded for this guy. Basically gave up a first-rounder for this guy. It was a 32nd overall pick that got moved to the second round because of some rule. Someone did something, lost a pick or something, but basically the 32nd pick in the draft was traded for this guy. The Bears traded it for this guy, and this guy's done nothing for them for the most part. Like I said, I am very impressed by Zach Wilson. I just saw a few of his articles about him. That was just really impressive. Like Mike Tomlin expected to make some changes. We don't know what that's going to be, though. I don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow. He's still hurt. Mac Jones is going to remain the starter for the Patriots. That's some good news to hear. And T. Higgins has a rib fracture. I don't know how long he's going to miss. They haven't really come out and say yet. Derrick Henry's back. He had a really good game against the Browns. Mike Evans has a hamstring injury, but I believe the Bucs have a Week 5 bye, so he should be potentially okay. And that's probably going to do it. Yeah, that's probably going to do it because I don't got any much other news. Chubb had a successful surgery. He'll be back. Hopefully next year is the rule. Ojobo for the Ravens has been put on IR. Raiders released Chandler Jones. And then David Njoku had a scary burn situation. I'm still not fully sure what exactly happened, but he has some burns to his face. It sounds like he did play Sunday. I didn't get to really catch him because I'll admit that was just one of the few games I wasn't tuned in on. It was their game, so I missed that a little bit. But yeah, past that, that's like I said, that's about it. I'll go over my NFL record at the end of the show. I have just basically one more thing to go over. I'm just going to talk about college real quickly. And then basically, yeah, I'm going to save my whole futures breakdown for next Thursday. I know I said I might do it this episode, but I can just tell you off the top of my head. I don't have all the stats written down. I want to get some stats and numbers for you, but just off the top of my head without looking, A.J. Brown's ain't looking too bad. Jalen Brown's isn't looking too bad. Jalen Hyatt's, my long shot is laughable at this point. DK's isn't looking horrible. 49ers score one touchdown every game. We like that one. Christian McCaffrey to have... Oh, my God. Hey, shout out Christian McCaffrey, man. I know I wouldn't go over all this. We're going to leave it with that one. Christian McCaffrey to have... they had Christian McCaffrey at 10 rushing touchdowns this season, plus 250. He's already at 6. So as long as he stay healthy, that's an awesome one, man. I'm really happy about that one. I'm just laughing. I did not expect them to have 6 already this season. I knew that one was going to be a good one, but man. Woo! That's funny. Yeah, but basically, to go over some games from last week, some big ones. Louisville, this is for my betting. We can talk about that in a minute. Utah loses to Oregon State. Oregon State gets a big win to bounce back. Notre Dame, huge game against Duke. Huge game. Huge comeback. Kind of, not really. I mean, Duke kind of made the comeback for a minute, and then Notre Dame. It was 13-14 going into the fourth, and Notre Dame had a few big drives into pulling away. Yeah, Notre Dame gets a huge win to bounce back in. Duke were really impressed with that game, though, as well. That game didn't go quite nearly as I thought it would. Penn State, 41-13. USC wins against Colorado 48-41. Colorado, really impressive storm back. They scored the last 20 points of the game. Kentucky destroys Florida. Hey, Kentucky might be a team. James Madison, the wagon, beats South Alabama. Shout out. Georgia beats Auburn by 7. Really close game there. And Michigan absolutely blows out Nebraska. Indiana gets destroyed by Maryland. Maryland's probably going to be ranked now. Texas takes on Kansas. And they won 40-14. That game got away from quick. Jalen Daniels didn't play, which was kind of shocking. I did not expect him not to play. Missouri beats Vanderbilt. Ole Miss beats LSU in a 55-49 barn burner. LSU is going to have some real issues now this year. Oregon wins 42-6. Oklahoma wins 50-20. Tennessee wins 41-20. Alabama wins 40-17. Washington wins 31-24. Game's a little bit closer than I thought. And Fresno State beats Nevada 27-9. Check it out. Before I end the week with my records, we're going to go over some games for next week real quick. NFL-wise, I'm basically just named some big games that I'm looking forward to. Colts-Titans is going to be a fun Division 1. Rams-Eagles is going to be very interesting, I believe. I'm kind of interested in the Bills-Jaguars London game, not too much so. Just because it's so damn early in the morning. Chiefs-Vikings might be kind of interesting, maybe. Cowboys-49ers is going to be for sure really interesting. And that's about it. Cleveland Browns, Chargers, Seattle Seahawks, and Tampa Bay Bucks are all on byes. And then real quick to go over some college games. There are going to be big games this weekend. Notre Dame takes on newly ranked Louisville. So tonight's going to be an interesting little ranked matchup. I'm going to be on Notre Dame in that one. Ohio State takes on Maryland, who is not ranked. That's shocking. I thought Maryland might be. I'm interested. If they can keep this close, they might be able to. But, man, I'm shocked they aren't ranked, honestly. LSU fell a good amount. Is now 23. It's going to take on Missouri. Oklahoma is going to take on Texas. Washington State is going to take on UCLA. UCLA is not ranked, but it's going to be an interesting game for sure. Alabama takes on Texas A&M, only 2-point favorites. That's interesting. I don't get that. Texas A&M doesn't have the quarterback, and Alabama's only favored by 2.5. Seems a little fishy. Texas State versus the Raging Cajuns is going to be a very interesting one for a little. I've had both those teams throughout the year bet so far, and they've both been doing decently job covering for me, so I'm interested in that. Georgia Kentucky is going to be a fun one. I'm interested to see how legit Kentucky is. That's about it. Other than that, there's not going to be too many other ranked matchups. Yeah, now I'm basically going to end the show just kind of going over how my betting's been going for the year. I won't lie. The only thing that's been really, really bad so far is these nasty boys. NFL-wise. College-wise, the nasty boy isn't doing too bad. NFL-wise, man, I just can't hit one. For whatever reason, it just feels like it's beyond unlucky. The one week I don't combine my picks, I go undefeated. When I combine my picks, the picks I combine lose. When I pick some stuff, it just doesn't. It just feels weird. It feels like I don't know why I can't keep missing. But yeah, so basically to go over everything. Sorry, I'm just gonna update some stuff real quick. So basically, when it comes to the Pickem record, I'm now 41-23 on the year. I'm very excited about that. Got smoked in Pickem last week though. Shout out my uncle. He had a really big week, so he's going to be, I think, in first now. He basically, beat everybody by like 20 points. He only missed like 2 games. He missed like 2 less games than the rest of us did, which basically is why he's going to be winning this week. But yeah, college football record-wise, I'm 26-23 on the year now. I went 16-2 on Saturday, college betting-wise. On my picks I gave out, Saturday was like 7-1 or something like that. It was an insane Saturday, so that was awesome. My NFL straights, which are the non-player props, I'm 15-12-1, not too bad. Glad I got that one back to above 500. I was pretty, I don't want to say embarrassed, but I was pretty frustrated that I couldn't get. It was just because it was negative for like a little bit, and I was pretty frustrated about that. And I'm happy it's been able to be positive since. Player prop wise, I'm up to 6-12 now, which I'm really happy about. The player prop one's been killing me. I've been missing these props just barely, and it's just felt like I'm in on the right reads of just maybe picked the wrong game or something like that. But to get it back to 6-12, that's probably my worst record-wise. Besides the Nasty Boys NFLs, I'm 0-8. But the college boys, I'm 2-3 in the college Nasty Boys through 5 weeks, which is pretty awesome because. But I'm only putting like $10 on these Nasty Boys because pretty much like 10 max 15 because I don't want to put. It's just sprinkles. These Nasty Boys are just sprinkles for fun to enjoy the day. So I think I'm up. So I think I've bet about 50 because I think college for sure is only been $10. I'll tell you that one off the top for sure. But it's a fun little $10 sprinkle pretty much. But yeah, so doing that, I'm up. I want to say close to $150 to $170. So I'm basically up. What is that? 12 units basically. If you count, like if we're going unit wise, I think I'm basically up like 12 units, which is shocking. Because yeah, so the Nasty Boy 90. So I hit a plus 815, and then I can't remember what that last week's was. It's a plus 815. I think it was one that was very similar to that. Plus 815 and plus 7. Yeah, plus 779. So we're doing decent, man. We're up a little bit. Like I said, the Nasty Boy isn't doing too well, but I'm pumped, man. So basically going to next week. Sorry, not next week. Going to Thursday, it's the same stuff. Pick 'em. College bets, NFL bets, and then I'll probably go over my futures after I do pick. Whether do it before pick 'em or after, but before I go into my bets, I will talk about the futures and how they're going so far. I just need to do some tallies to make sure I got all the numbers right. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. I really do appreciate it. It's been an awesome week, man. Awesome week. A lot to talk about. It's just a lot of fun, man. I'll see basically everybody on Thursday. That's me. Next time you see me on this feed will be Thursday to go over, like I said, pick 'em. We'll go over how my NFL futures are going so far, that for those of you who rode along with them. College bets, NFL bets. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. I'll basically see everybody on Thursday.